Hey everyone, Matt Daddy here, ready for some weekly reviews. Let's jump into it for books that came out on March 19th. A lot of great books this week. Let's get right into it. First off, from Image, we have issue 2 of Bug Wars from Jason Aaron. Really liking the first issue here, and the second issue is even better, I find. It's about a young guy. He is very interested in his bugs. His father was a bug scientist and was killed in the home that they're in now. They just moved back to it. His brother's traumatized because he found the bugs eating his dad during an experiment, so he hates bugs. This young guy, we don't know exactly what reason, he's been shrunken and now he's in the backyard living amongst these insects who are actually like little insect civilization. And he is a part of this now, so kind of has that John Carter of Mars feels in an insect world. So we have this young guy trying to deal with all this and not get killed. And he also finds out too that these bugs are all kind of working together to maybe kill his family, who they see as like these evil gods. So lots of cool stuff going on here. Jason Aaron's telling a pretty good story so far, and great artwork and a lot of action as well. So Bug Wars number 2 from Image is great. From Mad Cave Studios, we have the first issue of Crush Depth. It is a good book as well. It's about people on a submarine in the future where they have to live on this because of climate change and the world above is no longer livable. So they're living on there, and this woman's being tormented by her sibling who also wants to run this kind of submarine. So they live their lives on there, doing what they can, trying to figure out how to stay alive in this world. And while this is going on, they find something that infiltrates the ship and starts taking over stuff. So kind of a spooky feeling, kind of like aliens underwater, but really neat so far. So kind of has like a supernatural feel to it. Okay. From Oni, we have the next of the EC Terror books. This is Epitaph from the Abyss. 3 horror stories in here in that Tales from the Crypt kind of setting where we got I believe his name is the Grave Digger or the Grave Keeper. I think it's the Grave Digger. And he's the narrator for 3 stories here. Pretty fun stories. You got the first one about a guy who becomes an exterminator. The second one is about a fella in the 30s who is a baseball fan and goes to jail, so that's kind of neat as well too. He's a pretty good baseball player. And the last one is called The Rats of Ash Street. It's about a woman who ends up killing her husband and feeding him to rats and then having to pay for the repercussions from that. So if you like creepy horror stories, that is a great selection for you. From Oni, we have a new book called Out of Alcatraz. It is about these guys that escaped from Alcatraz. So originally it was 3 people starting off on a raft, only 2 making it. One of the brothers drowned. These 2 guys make it to land, and now they're trying to escape in that. They did have a plan set up where they have connections to the outside world, where they're going to have to kind of work and do things for this group to help escape. So they're now dealing with that. And then we find at the very end that maybe the 3rd guy didn't actually drown after all, and he did survive. So he's coming after these guys. So lots of great storytelling in here. I like the artwork as well, and I think to a certain degree this might be based on some true stories, but I'm unsure on that. From Boom Studios, we have a great book here called The Last Boy. This is a Peter Pan tale. I was looking forward to this because I really enjoyed that movie Hook with Robin Williams. So I kind of thought it was going to be that, where Peter Pan was grown up. But it's actually the opposite. Peter Pan's still in his boy form, still trying to do all the same stuff in that, but everyone else around him has grown up in that. So, the Indian tribe is working with Captain Hook now. They work as traders, so he doesn't know. And Peter Pan he can't believe all this, that these people have kind of grown up and moved on with their lives and gotten old and that. So he's there trying to pick a fight, and nobody wants to fight because they're older and they're not the same people anymore. And Peter Pan's kind of a jerk. He just wants to fight and play and be these dumb kid stuff. So while this is all happening, Captain Hook actually gets eaten by the alligator. So see what happens there. But it kind of seems like in this story that Peter Pan's the bad guy and everybody else is the good guy. So that's pretty good so far. The end of the first arc of Absolute Batman. Great series so far. Really enjoying it here. We see Bruce trying to deal with Black Mask's terror in the city, where he's dropping off masks and ammunitions for everybody in the city as they riot, just trying to destroy and take care of the city and that. So he's dealing with all that. We see some very silliness. We see a lot of gruesomeness as well too. But this is still a great fun story. Yeah, really enjoying the artwork on here, and Scott Snyder's doing a great job with the writing. It's dumb and silly fun, but still quite enjoyable. We have the first issue of Absolute Flash. This introduces all the Absolute Flash characters in this. Jeff Lemire doing the writing, so I have some high expectations here. And it turned out great. Turns out Flash here is Wally West. He's a teenager. His dad is a general on the base, and Barry Allen is a scientist that works on the army base. Wally and his dad don't have a great relationship because his dad's always having to move around for the army, and Wally's just, a sad kid and doesn't get along with him because of all this. So he kind of befriends Barry a little bit. Barry shows him around the lab a little bit, much to the general's, which is the dad's, disliking. And then we see that all these villains show up. And it's Captain Cold and Boomerang and that, so that's pretty cool. And we see that Barry gets in a fight with his dad, goes and tries to hang out, Wally gets into a fight with his dad and goes to try to hang out with Barry in the lab, and ends up getting mixed up and hurt during the experiment gone wrong, turning him into the Flash. So that's kind of neat. Really enjoying that so far. Great start. Batman and Robin Year 1 number 6. Been enjoying this a lot so far here. Mark Waid's been doing a great job of the writing, and the art. I like Chris Somney's art here. Makes me feel like that, a little bit of that old timers art. We got Bruce and Dick trying to live together as a father and son thing. At the end of last issue, Robin I should say, is been captured by some gangsters because he went in half-headed and got caught. So now he's waiting for Batman to rescue him. And he does so in that, and just more of their relationship growing together in that. So they finally do get a little bit of a emotional connection between the two, and it shows how they're kind of birds of a feather that want to keep doing this because of the loss of their family members. So really good story. Shows the introduction of classic villains in that. So keep reading that if you have, and if you haven't, do check it out. Something fun this week, we got DC Universe, crossing over with Sonic the Hedgehog. And it's exactly what you see here. We see the Justice League showing up in the Sonic universe to help deal with Darkseid trying to take it over. So lots of fun here. Lots of great action and color and artwork in that. So I quite enjoyed it, even though I'm not a huge Sonic fan or anything like that. But anyone who is a Sonic fan, or if you have kids, this would be a really fun read. So do check it out. It has all the Sonic characters and also a lot of the Justice League characters. So pretty fun stuff there. From Marvel, we have issue 2 of Eddie Brock Carnage. This is the new series where Eddie Brock has bonded with the Carnage symbiote because both were dying at the end of the Venom War thing, and they bonded together to kind of save each other. Eddie also thinks because he has such, a lot of experience with symbiotes that maybe he can control this Carnage symbiote a little bit because all it wants to do is murder. So far, he's been able to do that a little bit, and they kind of have a deal that Carnage will be able to kill people if it's people that Eddie picks out who are kind of like bad guys. So kind of like Dexter, the murderer TV show there, with a symbiote attached to him. So pretty fun so far. Really enjoying it more than I thought I would. And in this one here, Eddie tries to check into the police station, admitting that he's a killer, and that knowing that one of the cops there is the faux bushwhacker. So he's gonna take him out there. So lots of fun, lots of action. Like I said, enjoying it more than I thought I would. Something that I'm immensely enjoying is the Image Universe stuff, or Energon Universe stuff, I should say. This is G.I. Joe number 5. Here we have some members of the G.I. Joe team captured by Cobra, and Duke and all that is trying to infiltrate them. And at the same time, too, they managed to escape. So you got Destro kind of getting in over his head here and having to retreat. And you see Cobra Commander finally meeting up with Duke and that. So lots of great action in here, lots of great color and art. This Energon universe is being greatly built. From Marvel, we have issue 3 of the New Champions. Like I said in the past, I'm not usually a fan of like teen and young adult books here, but this has been a lot of fun so far. It has these new champions who were all kind of magically called together during a spell when someone was in trouble, and now a few of them have formed a new team. And now in this issue, they're kind of getting and meeting for the first time the original champions team. And of course, when heroes meet, they have to fight because there's a misunderstanding. So lots of action in here, lots of more development of this new team. So I'm really liking it. And I do like a lot of these new younger characters. The big mega event that's crossing Marvel right now is One World Under Doom. Doom is taking over the world, and all the leaders are kind of falling in line because he seems to be providing a perfect world with his magic and the science. And the Fantastic Four in this issue attack him, trying to make him look bad and prove that he's doing wrong stuff and that, but they just can't. They end up looking like fools. So the more of the world is falling under Doom's kind of influence, and so far they haven't been able to prove anything other than that. So pretty good so far. I'm enjoying this a lot, and we'll see what happens because Doom always does have something up his sleeve. Issue 2 of Silverhawks from Ed Brisson. Really enjoying this a lot too. All of these reboots of these older products, especially from the 70s and 80s, are right up my alley, and they've all been great so far. This is another one. We have the Silverhawks, who the team itself wasn't trying to disband, but it's no longer needed and it's kind of outdated. So they were shutting them down at the end of the last issue when that Monstar creature, which is their ultimate arch enemy, broke out of jail, and now he's going through the universe trying to kill everybody and seek revenge. So the old team's trying to get back together and deal with all this. So lots of fun here. If you're not familiar with a lot of the Silverhawk characters, they do kind of get introduced and explained to you here, so don't let that stop you if you don't have a background on them, because I myself, even though I knew who they were, didn't really know much of the history or that, so I didn't follow it when I was a kid. So also from Dynamite, the next issue is Space Ghost. Again, another series that's been a reboot of old stuff that wasn't expecting to like that much, and this has been a great series here. Now all of the enemies of Space Ghost have bonded together in a kind of like Legion of Doom type of thing, and they're all going to attack him and wipe him out that way. So they start doing all that, and it's a great story. Lots of action always in this book, and lots of storytelling as well. So do check that out. I'm sure you can grab a couple of the trade paperbacks to get all caught up. From the Black Label of DC, we have The Last Days of Lex Luthor, Mark Waid doing the writing, and Hitch doing the art. I'm always a big fan of Brian Hitch. His art goes very, very detailed and fine line. Lex Luthor is dying, and nobody knows why, and nobody can figure out why or save him. So Superman's trying to, even though everyone else in the world thinks he should just leave him be and let him die, but Superman can't do that because, he's just such a good force all the time. He takes Lex to the future, to the Legion, to see if they can help him, and they can't. And then he takes him to other places in the world, too, like Amazon Island, to see if they can help out. Through all different areas of the galaxy, like Oa, different parts of Atlantis, and nobody's able to help him out. Nobody can figure out what's killing Lex Luthor. So I'm really enjoying this as much as well too. Yeah, it's just a good story. Issue 4 from DC of the New Gods. We've covered the first 3 issues of this so far, and it's been a great series. With Darkseid dying, the universe has kind of been thrown into turmoil, and the fallout is still happening on Earth and New Genesis on Apocalypse. All 3 are being under attack and trying to be taken over by this other entity, and they're doing a pretty good job of it. So everyone's battling for it. At the same time, Mr. Miracle is trying to protect this baby's life, who they figure is maybe somehow related to Darkseid being reborn. And of course, Orion has been sent there to kill him. So now we have all this going on at the same time, and they're all kind of interweaving together. So really great story so far. From Dark Horse, we have the 3rd issue of Don't Be Afraid. Oh, sorry, Those Not Afraid. Great story so far, but a couple of serial killers who are trying to one-up each other all the time to become the most proficient serial killer in that state. They're both about to break the record, and they're kind of having a contest out of it. And at the end of the last issue, at the beginning of this issue, one of them has fallen into a trap where he gets caught by a SWAT team. And this all makes the news in that. And the other guy, instead of kind of letting the other guy be arrested and becoming the best serial killer, he goes out and does a kill, making it look like the other guy is innocent. So it's almost like he's a friend, and he wants him to be out there and do competition with them. So he gets out, and then they both start killing again. So pretty crazy book so far. Yeah, but neat story. I believe there's one more issue to that. Spinning of the Thundercats universe, we have issue 1 from Thundercats Lost by Ed Brisson. Again, it was just we saw just doing the Silverhawk stuff. He also did the Thundercats Apex one-shot last month. Here we see another team of Thundercats that have out doing space exploration who have crashed, and now they're shows them living on the third Earth and not having to deal with it all and that. But these seem to be a little bit different. The timing seems to be a little bit off, so I'm not sure if this is in the future or if it's before the current Thundercats and that, but still a great story so far. Again, expanding on that universe. So from Dark Horse Comics, we have the final issue of Welcome to Maynard. Really fun book about a young woman here. We see her as a bellhop who's training to be the house detective at the Maynard Hotel, which is a hotel that caters to magical people. So kind of like how the Continental is a hotel that's for evil people and assassins in the John Wick movies. This is kind of like more of a Harry Potter feel. this hotel is hidden to most people unless they know magic. So she works there, and while she's there, she's trying to figure out the mystery of there's a cat burglar that keeps stealing magic artifacts from the hotel guests. So lots of fun here, lots of great artwork. Like I said, it does kind of have like a Harry Potter feel to it. And I kind of feel like it has almost like a Paul Dini kind of feel to it art-wise. So I've enjoyed this a lot. And the story wraps up in a pretty good way here. And I do hope that there is more of these stories, more volumes, because I see this being a expanding story universe as well too. Welcome to Maynard. From Dark Horse, we have first issue of Who Are the Power Pals? Kind of a funny book here about two dudes that at one point in their lives for maybe a couple of weeks they were going to be big actors and superheroes in a TV show that just never really took off, and they never really kind of recovered for that. So it's years later, they're still trying to get acting jobs and that, and they suck. So they end up getting fired from their job, and now they're just trying to figure out how to survive. And they figure that they'll make a few bucks putting on their old costumes and out there trying to just be heroes, take pictures and all that stuff. But in that, they're actually even looking like more losers. But one guy actually saves somebody during that, and he's gonna go out and actually try and be a real vigilante in that, but it's not going to happen. These guys, like I said, are pretty big losers. So lots of silly fun here. We'll see where it goes. And lastly, only because she starts with Z, it is the second issue of the new Zatanna series. Lots of fun here. Zatanna has been cursed, and at the end of the last issue was actually stabbed by this magical sword that keeps impaling her. They can't take it out, and it's screwing up her magic and that as well too. So she ends up at the Oblivion Bar, where the rest of the kind of Justice League Dark members are kind of hanging out. Other magic people, Blue Devil, Bobo, the Chimp Detective. I believe that's Madame Xanadu, and they're gonna try and help her in that as well too. So she is trying to unravel this mystery, and ends up having to deal with this woman in white who's somehow linked to all this. But pretty fun so far. Awesome artwork. And if you're a magic person, this is definitely up your alley. Second issue of Zatanna. All right, everybody, that's what I read and reviewed for this week. Let me know what you read and liked, and if you liked any of these and decide to check them out. Otherwise, go and support your LCS and like, support, share. We'll see you guys all later.